Hey, this is Dr. Jeff Broderick. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the one person in every American family that walks on four legs. That's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the the teaching, and I'm here to teach you. Doctor in Latin means teacher. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach you that that child is a child of God. And those are the words of Mother Teresa said to me face to face at her house in Calcutta. And to get the understanding together that that child of God is as important as anyone in your family. It's one person in the part of the average American family walks on four legs. And so you adopted this baby and you're responsible for it. And I'm going to teach you how to be responsible for it and things that you don't know. Because all over television, we're blasted every day about how to get the best pet food. Well, there is no best pet food, and most of it, and the majority of it, is poison. And poison isn't something that kills you right away. It can kill you fast, it can kill you slow. So what I do is I teach you the truth. The truth is that none of us would ever eat pet food. So why would we give it to the children that are going to be maybe the only person in your life that guarantees you unconditional love? This is what it's all about. There's about 123 million households in the United States. Every household has a pet. Everyone has one pet on the average. Some have six, some have none. But on the average, one household for every pet. And that pet dies of two main things. And many of you have heard me tell you the story on Shark Tank. They die of two things. They die of diabetes and cancer. The diabetes comes from the pet food and the cancer comes from the pet food. That's the truth. That's where it comes from. And if you don't believe me, then go eat the pet food, but don't give it to the dog and cat. Okay, so I don't make pet food. I make cornucopia. And cornucopia is not the pet food. It's food for pets. Major difference. So I am the world leader in the abolition of pet food. I want to get rid of pet food. I want you to get rid of your pet food. But to be a world leader or a leader in anything, what are you going to do about the alternative? Well, I've provided the alternative over a half a century that I've been a veterinarian. I graduated from Kansas State University in 1969. And I was in the first class of nutrition ever taught at any kind of medical school. That means human medical school, veterinary medical school, naturopathic medical school, homeopathic medical school, dental school, whatever. They never had a class of nutrition before the spring semester of 1969, and that's the year I graduated. So I took up this information that was given to me by the great Dr. Russell Fry at Kansas State University, and I became his protege, and he stayed as my mentor for his lifetime. Now, I know that on the internet, everybody surfs and everybody gets on, and they want information that's bang. Well, this is not a bang bang show. This is a teaching show. And so I want you to learn from this. And the big thing that I want you to learn is that the whole subject of this show is that we have listened to propaganda, and we have listened to the women, God bless you, are the ones that culture and nurture and feed and care for the animals 90% of the time. So 90% of you ladies out there are the ones that this show is directed to. And the boys, join in, and we love you, and we want you to listen to this and listen and learn. And it's not about money. It's about keeping the animals healthy and increasing their lifespan 3 times. And we're on our way of doing this. We're on the way. I mean, the average pet in the United States is sick at 6 and dead at 8. Okay? It's from pet food. You don't believe it? Go eat it. I eat my food. I make my food. There are 87,000 veterinarians. I'm the only one that I know of that makes food for pets. I don't make pet food. And I practice veterinary medicine 7 days a week for the last half a century. So I see firsthand what veterinarians don't see when they just work for a pet food company. I don't work for anybody. I work for you. And when I see these animals come in that were dying, and now they're jumping around and growing younger, not growing older, but growing younger, this is what I want to see. And the age group is climbing and climbing and climbing. When I was born, October 23rd, 1941, we didn't have any cancer. We didn't have any diabetes. Okay, it was virtually non-existent. And so now, out of those 123 million households, every other animal dies of cancer or diabetes. What an amazing, horrible change this has been. And so, and this is beautiful that and I don't know why the Lord gave me this radio station, but it just happens to be on Easter, on Passover. I mean, we've got the freedom of countless amounts of people who escaped from the pharaohs, and then we got Jesus arising. Okay, so what a fantastic way to start a show on this blessed time of year. So I want to ask you to put that in your hearts, to understand that we are going to see these animals again at another time. We're going to be with them again, just like Mother Teresa said to me. I've been with you before in other lifetimes. We are here together at my home in Calcutta, and we will be together again. That's why I wrote a Dio, and you can get a Dio because I gave it, not sold it, but I gave it away to the world as a gift, so you can think about those animals that have passed, and you go to www.soundcloud.com/Dr. Jeffrey Broderick, and a Dio will come up. And it's the song of unconditional love. It's to you from me as a gift of this time and always. For people who want to reach me and get a hold of me and dig into this more, my consultations are free all over the world. And you just call Cornucopia, Cornucopia, right? rated the most valuable food for pets in the world, and you call Cornucopia at 631-427-7479, and we'll take your calls, or we'll get back to you. You can hang on, whatever, and we'll talk about these animals. I don't care what's wrong with your pet. I don't care how small or how big the problem is. If there is a problem, let's get rid of the problem. Let's face the problem. Let's talk about it. All right? When you go on my website, which is cornucopiapetfoods.com, I don't know why I call it petfoods.com, but that's the name of the company. But it's not pet food. It's human grade, GMO-free, certified organic, gluten-free, cage-free, harm-free. The only one that has a harm-free symbol on it of all the pet foods in the United States, probably the world. But let's concentrate on this. It's about teaching, and teaching isn't an 8-minute office visit. Part of the 8 minutes, including the copay. That's not teaching anybody anything. I can teach you with 50 years, a half a century of experience, how to prevent the diseases before they even start. And that's the big thing. Like the thing on Shark Tank was a real big deal that I cured cancer. I don't cure cancer. I'll tell you what, nobody cures cancer. They may have you in remission for a while, but nobody cures cancer. And certainly everybody that even gets in remission takes $1 million to do it. Well, I don't know anybody spending $1 million on a dog and a cat. And if they did, we'd probably have a lot better results than we do now. So an 18-month lifespan or an 18-day lifespan or an 18-week lifespan is not a cure for me, okay? The way to cure it is the way to cure yourselves. It's with prevention. This was taught by Hippocrates. This is nothing new. Hippocrates taught these truths. Truths. How much truth do you get on television, all right? Hippocrates taught these two truths over 2,600 years ago. He said, food shall be your medicine, and medicine shall come in the form of your food. Not pills, not a tablet every day, not a quick fix, because there is no quick fix. But there is a relatively short time to prevent the majority of all this stuff. I've been around, this is my 78th year, okay? So I've been around a long time. And I've been a veterinarian around a long time. I've worked on over 1 million animals, and I've done the hundreds of thousands of surgeries, hundreds of thousands. And so I can tell you from experience and knowing the truth that a lot of stuff that we were told is not true. Don't feed the dog off the table. Well, okay, don't feed the dog off the table. It's bad, bad, bad. And don't feed the cat table scraps. It's bad, bad, bad. And don't feed them leftovers, because that's bad, bad, bad. That's a lot of bad, bad, bads, okay? So some people learned that bad is a great sales tool, okay? And so we're going to turn all this around. There was nothing bad about your grandparents' food, okay? But veterinarians and other people were taught by the pet food cartel to tell you these fairy tales about how bad the food is. So you can take your food and mix it with cornucopia, and you got a food from heaven. But don't throw your food away, because your food may not be organic, but it's human food. It has some inspection to it, which pet food doesn't. I don't know of any inspector other than me. And when I'm in my factory making my food, making cornucopia with my two little surgeon's hands, I inspect everything. I watch over everything while I'm making the food. This doesn't happen in pet food. I've been in the pet food business for a half a century. And I'm telling you, and I don't have to tell you very much, because if you if you think that I'm exaggerating this, go dip into your bag of dried pet food that's been sitting in that bag for months, open, and dig into it and have lunch. It's lunchtime. That's why I picked this time. I picked this time when we were negotiating this the show that I was invited to host, because the women that are home, the kids are in school, and the women that are working outside the home, they're taking lunch right now. And they can sit down and we'll have a whole nice lunch together, and we'll sip some tea, drink some water, and just relax and think about it. Think about it. Think about it when you listen to a Dio. Think about those animals that have given you unconditional love all their lifetime. Wow. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the boys out there, look, boys were told not to cry. What are you, some kind of wuss? I mean, what are you crying for? Boys don't cry. You'll never grow up to be a man. Well, forget the man thing, okay? There's only women and boys. And so and whether the boys are 7 or 77, like I am, they're still boys, and you got to understand that. So boys, let the women be in charge of nurturing and culturing, because we were just not made that way. And I have some phenomenal clients out there that happen to be boys, and they're wonderful, and they listen, and they're good, but a boy's not made that way. So when you call me, I'm not watching a clock. Okay, when you call me at Cornucopia, which is 631-427-7479, we're going to have a chat. And if you leave your number for me to call you back, you got one shot. Okay, I'll call you and leave your cell phone number or whatever where I can get a hold of you on one shot, because I do this almost 17 hours a day. Now, yesterday, we had the awesome pleasure of being at a place called Happiness is Backcountry Market. It's in Greenwich, Connecticut. It's run by Tom and his sister Christine and their buddy Anna, and they had a whole party last night. It was wonderful. Food is wonderful, and this is what's unique about Backcountry Market right now. I have never let anybody sell my food because I don't make pet food. I make human grade, certified organic, GMO-free, antibiotic-free, free range, cage-free, and harm-free food. And so congratulations to Backcountry Market, because you guys are the only ones that I've ever let sell my food. And you know why I did this? Because not only do they have the most beautiful, the cleanest, we're talking German clean here, the most beautiful little health food store where they serve food. I mean, everything is just phenomenal. And they have a load of cornucopia for you, waiting for you to pick up. When you feed the food, don't be annoyed because your problems go away. Okay? Don't be shocked to find out that your veterinary bills are going to decrease precipitously. The food is your medicine. That's what Hippocrates said 2,600 years ago. That's 600 years before Jesus. All right? The man knew what he was talking about, and the medical profession have given him the honor of being the father of medicine. Yeah? Well, maybe all the doctors listening to this show out there better start thinking about what the word teacher means. So this is what I did, and this is what I have done for a half a century. I teach people how to prevent the disease to begin with by getting rid of the thing that causes 90% of the disease. What causes 90% of the disease is pet food. You don't eat it, you won't even taste it. The only person I've ever seen eat pet food on television or at shows or anything else is me. And I do it because I have a belief system that when I make my food, I have to eat a can from every batch of every flavor of every size. And then 2 days later, after I eat it, if I don't break out in a rash or start vomiting or getting diarrhea, then I'll let it go. If there's no reaction to it, I'll let it go. And then you can buy it. You buy it over the internet. Cornucopiapetfoods.com. And so this is a belief system, and I want to teach y'all to have a belief system like I have. And the belief system is good. The belief system knows, because the belief system's been around here since October 23rd, 1941. And at 3 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an animal doctor. That's what I wanted to do. I don't want to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be an animal doctor. And so that's what I still am. I'm an animal doctor. And I take care of animals. But I don't just take care of sick animals. What I do is I prevent them from getting sick. And that's what I want all the doctors out there to understand this. Doctor means teacher. Start teaching the people. Forget the 8-minute office visit, including the copay. Just sit down with the people. When's the last time you actually sat down with a veterinarian? We were taught with any kind of doctor. Sit down. We were told, don't put a chair in the room. Don't put a chair in the room. This is taught to us by the pet food cartel. Don't put a chair in the room. Just tell them what you want to tell them. Tell them. Don't listen to them. Tell them. Tell them what you want them to know. And then get them out of there and go to the next one. Well, it's not how many people you see. It's how much they learn from experiencing with you what you have to teach. But in order to do that, you have to teach them. So again, being the world leader in the abolition of pet food, somebody had to make the alternative to pet food. And that's what I've been doing for my lifetime. And that's what I will continue to do until they drag me out of here. Okay? And so if I sold my pet food company, which isn't pet food, I could sell this thing in 10 minutes and go to the beach, and that would be it. I never have to talk to anybody again. I never have to do anything. But I love talking to people and I love teaching people the truth because there is a truth out there. And the people I sold the company to, if I sold it, would have this stuff wrecked in 6 weeks, like they have shown that they have done with thousands of brands of pet food. Make it cheaper, make it cheaper, make it cheaper. And so I am not going to put on the line what it took me 50 years to do out of my 77 and a half years of life to accomplish, to have somebody wreck it so they can make more money. The value of my food is 3 times what it's worth, and you can take advantage of that. And I've had I have a book that'll tell you this story. It's called Compassion for Pets, and you can get that online at cornucopiapetfoods.com. And also, when you go online to cornucopiapetfoods.com and you go to the website, this website wasn't made to surf. It wasn't made to scan. And it wasn't made to drop on and drop off, okay? Because that just puts you back in the same old medical thing where I got to go. I can't listen. I got to go. I got things to do. I got to go. That's why I put this where people are having lunch and they're alone and the kids are in school and the girls that are outside of the home get a break and they can sit down and have lunch and listen to this and ask the questions, because these questions are so important. Because this animal, this 4-legged animal, the same as you're just another animal. You got a bigger brain, they got a smaller brain, but believe me, they have a different kind of smarts. They have wisdom like it's hard to believe. There's no such thing as a dumb animal. We wouldn't last a week out there trying to survive, okay? But they do. And those blessed little things, they don't get cell phones. They don't get a college education. They don't get a bar mitzvah or a wedding. They don't get all these perks. They don't get tennis lessons. They don't get golf lessons. They don't get any kind of lessons. All they do is they're in your home, and when you come home, ladies and gentlemen, and you walk in your house, look for the one that's wagging its tail, all right? Because that's unconditional love. And that's what they do. That's all they know. And so when I was with Mother Teresa, she said, remember the children. Don't forget the children. Because I was in India teaching how to make massive amounts of food for massive amounts of people who are hungry. And Mother Teresa said, and I said, I'm here for the animals of Calcutta and India. And she said to me, well, don't forget the children. And I looked at her and I said, but Mother, the animals are my children. And she looked back at me, and 6 minutes later, she stopped staring at me and said, it is true, it is so. They're all God's children. All right? So read your Bible or any other good book that you want to read, and it will tell you, these are God's creations. Don't poison them with pet food that you're hooked on because somebody sold you a bill of goods that's so good. Just eat it yourself. And if you can't eat it, go get some cornucopia, because that's the alternative to pet food. It's there. It's available to you. Well, how much does that stuff cost? That must be really expensive. Well, I'll tell you what we did. We took the little money that we had, because we give the food away practically, all right? And we ran a test of 42 brands of pet food. Now, none of them were GMO-free. None of them were certified organic. None of them, they all had antibiotics in them. They all were genetically modified. Genetically modified food ain't food. That's what it is. They're not food. That's not food. That's genetically modified food. All right? So we took all these quote unquote pet foods and we ran metrics on them, which means the protein, the fat, the fiber, the carbohydrate, what was the caloric density of the food, how many calories do you get per kilogram, per can, per everything. We ran a thing like, if you open the New York Times or the Washington Post centerfold, it would be that big in information that told you. And when we ran it, we were shocked, because we took how much every food sold for, and we made a different metric. We made a metric that, what is the food costing? What does it cost to actually feed the food? Not what the can of food cost, not what the bag of food cost, but when you look at the food and the recommendations on the food, what does it cost to feed this sludge to your animal? And we found that the least expensive food to feed was cornucopia. Now, how can you take all this stuff and put it in from cornucopia, all this certified organic, everything made by the veterinarian that makes it on his own hands, and all this work? How do you get it that way? I'll tell you how you get it that way, because we give it away, because it's worth 3 times what it is. So we don't have all that leftover money to do the advertising with. So I've been invited to do this show to let the people know this and tell them the truth. There is the truth. When you call me at Cornucopia at 631-427-7479, you want to talk to me, you call me. If I'm going to give you my time, I want your time. I want a time when you're going to listen to a doctor who's finally taught you something. And it's the truth. And it's the most important thing of your life right now, is to stop the feeding of food that you would throw up the second you feed that food. Stop feeding pet food. It is not made for pets. It's made for money. That's what it's all about. 50 years of doing this. This is my first show. And so I'm here for you. God bless you.